Hello my loves, welcome back to Zeke's Lunchbox. Today is an exciting one, something a little different for my channel. We're gonna do a studio tour. I love these kind of videos because it's like, ooh, I get to see into somebody's little world. Nice to see the behind the scenes. It's kind of humbling, it's kind of inspiring. I've been in this space for about 6 months now, and this is the very first proper studio I've ever had. I also moved to a new city 6 months ago, so I don't have that much stuff. I got rid of everything and I've basically been building up again, and that's been a little bit tricky, and I feel like I've been putting off a studio tour for a while because I just wanted to live in this space and really see how it was working on a practical level. I feel like there's still a lot of things that I want to improve. It's not perfect, but I feel like finished rather than perfect is better, you know? I feel like I need to put a little disclaimer before we get into it. All of this stuff that you are going to see are things that I've spent years building up. I don't have lots of like, you know, fancy schmancy things, but I just don't want you guys to feel like, oh, I don't have this space, therefore I can't make good art, I don't have this, I don't have that tool. All of the stuff that I have is just to make the process a lot quicker. It doesn't necessarily mean all the things in here are essential. With all that being said, let's just head into it and start the studio tour. Alrighty, so we're gonna start off with the wall that you guys probably see the most. A couple of months ago, I did have a lot of other little paper things on there, and I've just recently put all of my paintings up, and I just feel like it looks so much neater with the plant and everything. It feels like fashion, but still Zeke, you know? We have my ladder over here, and we'll get to all the little layers in a second, but I just wanna show you my little baby. I did have a name for him. I think his name is Bert, so say hello to Bert. Hello! That painting over there I did for my Z Creatures exhibition with my partner. Yeah, that piece has been really terrifying to live with, and I'm kind of scared and a little regretful of bringing her into the world because Nifa is terrifying. We'll go through a couple more of the paintings. With this painting here, I do have a time lapse of this piece. I originally created it for a big exhibition in the US. It was pretty ambitious for me to try and aim for the space that I was going for. Absolutely love the colors in this piece. She is up for grabs. All these paintings here are up for grabs if you are interested. Moving on to Aisha and Friends. Don't believe I've got a time lapse of this piece, but if you watched my video last week, I did talk about how I had a really lovely girl called Sarah who got this piece tattooed on her, so that's pretty exciting. I really like these two pieces together actually. It looks like for a good 6 months or 9 months I was kind of looking at covering the eyes and having that kind of anonymity come through in a lot of my work. Moving on, we do have a time lapse of this piece over here. This one does have a home. It's just living with me up on the wall for safekeeping until she's ready to be shipped out. But yeah, I'm gonna be sad to see these guys go because they look really good on the wall at the moment. I'm pretty happy with them. Let's move on to the ladder. I believe I just got the ladder from Kmart. All of my furniture is either secondhand from Kmart or from IKEA. So yeah, let's go through every single shelf layer that we have here. Everything on my shelf is semi for decor and then also for practical reasons. It does store a lot of my art supplies. My whole thinking behind having the shelf that was decorative and also practical was to have like the opposite of out of sight, out of mind. I just feel like if everything is kind of easy to reach and it's all accessible, I will be kind of forced to use a lot of the art supplies that are there. I've been seeing a lot of these around town, especially a lot in Australia. These are just from Kmart. My ice cream jar, which I rather love, holds absolutely nothing. It was holding like a bunch of bull clips, but yeah, I don't know. I bought it because it's like, I need some containers that are fashion, but also practical. So I don't know. I haven't used it for anything just yet. I bought this in Newcastle. There was like a pop-up store full of all these fluffy things. It does light up, but I don't have any batteries in it at the moment. I've got my two Funko dolls, my two Pops over here. So I've got an Oblina, and obviously you guys have met Greta as well. I got one of these because I was craving chocolate one day and it came with a Yowie. For anybody who isn't from Australia, a Yowie is like a Kinder Surprise, but it has like Australian animals in it instead. And yeah, I know all the proceeds go to like animal conservation, I'm pretty sure. I have no idea what kind of animal this is though, but he's kind of cute. This piece here was a trade that I did years ago with an artist called Naughtier. Yeah, so it's by Schizoid Rabbit. Wow, from 2013, so you know, a couple of years ago now, but it's been one of my prized possessions. I really love having other people's art in my home, and for me, when I first did this trade, it was like a really nice signifier into like a new era in my life of, you know, connecting with all other artists as well. So I've got lots of happy memories attached to this. These glasses I've had for, you know, quite some time, but I don't really particularly know why I have such an affinity to them. I just feel like they're really fun, and I think these are like 10 years old now. I've used them in lots of photo shoots. I just think they're really silly. I do really love old 70s concept art, and that's what Greta really reminds me of, and I wanted to pay homage to him. And this minty color just really bounces off a lot of the pink that I have in my home, so it's more of an aesthetic thing rather than like a cultural thing. And this apple here I have had for quite some time. It holds a bunch of my paints. It's not the most practical place for my paint, and I do eventually want to decanter all of my paint tubes into just a big palette so they're just ready to go and I don't have to constantly go through the tubes. All right, second shelf. This container over here from my US haul, don't remember what it holds. Holds really interesting things like staples. In here I have lots of tape. I got this container from Flying Tiger in the US, and yeah, I actually go through this tub quite a lot because I do go through a lot of washi tape. I don't use ink all that much. I don't particularly like using ink. There was at some stage where I did buy them, but I more like them for the packaging. There's something like really cool and alchemy and witchy about them, and they're so small and cute as well. I just like them on display. Over here, I've got a petri dish that I traded with another artist. This one's by Effie. The colors in it are just like perfection to me, and I really love this like pastel and like lime green. Over here I've got a placket from Art Not Apart. These are just the plackets that they gave out to all the other artists to let the public know what we were and what our names were. Some more practical things that are out on display. This yellow jar that I got from a secondhand store. Swan that was gifted to me that's a planter. At the moment it's just holding lots of like miscellaneous things. My banana pen. Over here, just a jar full of bull clips. I do like having stuff like this out because I really hate going through all of my stuff and not being able to find anything, so when it's clear it's like primo. Let's move on to this layer. Over here is a vessel that my partner gave me as a birthday present. It contains a bunch of bouncy balls. A thing my partner and I have is to buy bouncy balls from those like $2 machines, and you know, twist the knob and then get a bouncy ball. A couple of old sketchbooks. I might go through and do another sketchbook tour of these two together just because there's not much in them. Lots of blank pages. Over here, lots of art tubs that I have. Gesso, a textiles medium, some lousy ink. This is by my friends who own a ink company, so all of this stuff is like recycled ink. This stack over here, all of these things here hold like beads and sewing needles and stuff. Lots of things that I have used a lot in the past, but because I used to do a lot more sewing, but these days not so much. Over here is an old palette that I have used a lot in the past. As you can see, it's got a lot of love, but it's super caked on and kind of impractical now, so I've retired her. Okay, so we'll be moving on from the third tier down to the fourth. This palette over here has been a palette that I have been using recently, but at the moment it is getting a little bit too caked up, so maybe retiring her soon. I don't think I've used this since maybe high school, but I do like having a lot of these kind of tools just for the sake of having them. A little stack of books, lots of like notebooks. All of this stuff here is like, again, filled with things that I never really use, like a whole jar of just string for some reason. Scissors, lots of tools. Again, some more tools. So moving on from this wall and moving over to a not so pretty area. This is the desk that I mostly do all of my admin, designing, social media stuff. This little section of my studio is dedicated to packing orders. It's definitely a work in progress. I don't think it's really that practical. I'd like to get a completely different station just for all of this stuff. But you know, I'll work on it once I get there. So this desk over here is my filming desk / drawing desk because it is an area where I need to feel inspired. I wanted to keep a lot of the plants over here. I do want to get a plant for this corner here just because it's a little bit awkward. Over here is my very sexy fan, so I will be needing that eventually once it's a little bit warmer. This box over here holds a lot of my tech stuff. I just needed a container that looked pretty but, you know, was also practical, and it needed to live next to my computer just because I do constantly switch a lot of cables. Over here I have obviously my plants, but I also wanted to get a dish and a couple of other containers just because I do need a lot of that sort of stuff for practical reasons. I do find that the metal dish really helps me like center a lot of things, and I do want to get a lot more of these because they really help to contain a lot of the mess. And yeah, over here lots of like paintbrushes, containers, paint, things that I use really regularly. I don't really love the way that they're all displayed. I do feel like, just like what I had over in this corner, I need like another tray for this corner over here just to kind of stack everything and center everything. Over on the corner of my desk is usually stuff that I'm currently working on. So another tarot card is over there, and then some books that keep me inspired. But let's quickly chat about some tech. As you can see, I've got my two filming lights out and about. For the two, they cost me like $50 by like some local company in Australia. Now this tripod, I needed a good solution, some filming from the top down. With this tripod, you can see there's the pink string that runs down to the ground, and I've got some weights that like weigh it down and hold it into the corner, but I still find that it is really wobbly. I do have my camera charger like constantly on the go and wrapped around this pole, and I have found like things like this are really important and really essential for your workflow. You're probably wondering what this ugly cord is for my phone. It's just strapped in, so it's like, all right, ready to go. I know that sort of stuff is pretty boring and not very aesthetic, but I do find that sort of stuff I always want to know more about, and I always want people to talk about those kind of solutions because I'm always trying to find like solutions for cord management and all of that boring stuff. So chatting quickly about some things that are up on the wall. You may recognize the butterfly poster because it used to be on the gallery wall a couple of weeks ago. Some client work is up on the wall, and you can kind of see in that corner as well some more client stuff. This is my painting corner. It's where I film a lot of the time lapses that I've been working on. I recently just put up my mushroom flag, banner, something or other. I find that it's a really good background for filming, and also it just keeps me really inspired. I need that kind of color to constantly vibe off of. Oh, and in case you were wondering where I keep all my paints, it's in this box full of paint. Eventually, I do want to get a better solution for where I store all of my paints. I find it really frustrating constantly rummaging through this box. Yeah, eventually I want to make like a whole pegboard so I can just like easily find all of my paints. Over here is the final fourth wall in the studio. It's honestly, yeah, really not saving the best for last. This is the worst part of the studio. So at the moment, a lot of like sketches for client stuff has gone up there. Eventually I will be removing all of the line artwork, and hopefully it'll just be all covered in my tarot card stuff. So that's exciting. Yeah, see, it's just really not particularly pretty, but it's a closet, you know? It's just where all of the stuff that I don't want out on display to be at. It's got suitcases, boxes for all my tech stuff, old photo albums, a little bit of merch, some books. My shame. Put it away. Okay, my loves, I hope you enjoyed that. Hope it was a little bit interesting to see the behind the scenes where I work and where I spend 6 days a week. If you like the video, make sure you give it a like and subscribe. In between uploads, you can catch me on Facebook and Instagram. And if you want to support the channel and my art, you can always head over to zekelunchbox.com. I will see you guys in the next one. Ta-ta! Goodbye! Fare thee well.